Hi. Let's talk about stories. Yeah. um, let's talk about breaking the fourth wall. Recently I've been watching some fourth wall moments. Um, like, my sister watches The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy on Netflix, and there's just this one episode where Mandy's like, ugh, another pet episode. I'm getting out of this cartoon. She like pulls the screen back and walks out of the TV, and yeah, and she's like watching the episode from the outside, and yeah, I imagine if you could do that in real life. I'm close to Central Parks. I have to like find the limit. It's not working. I'm trying to be funny. It's not working. Um, that's not appealing. Other fourth wall moments. I watched the Ultimate Spider-Man with Deadpool. Yeah, of course, Deadpool breaks the fourth wall. I think it's because Loki told him that he's in a comic book and that his entire universe is a lie and a story, and because he knows that he's able to do all of these impossible things, like speak in word bubbles and yeah. Um, Plus the fact that he has a healing factor, he can heal from anything that could possibly kill him. I don't really know the extent of, let's Wikipedia, the extent of Deadpool's healing factor. We're gonna go on Google because for some reason my internet has decided to put me on Google, on ask.com. So if I try to, I'm like looking at this and there's all this weird stuff popping up. I don't know why. Okay, let's search up some things I cannot till I try. I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. That's from Wicked. It's a really good song. It's called Defying Gravity. Go learn that song. Sorry, my nose is like, I don't know what's going on with it. So apparently Deadpool's real name is Wade Winston Wilson. Yeah. WWW. He's part of the Thunderbolts. He's part of X-Force. He's part of, like, wow, this is awesome. He's part of the X-Men. I'm sorry, I knew that, but it's still surprising. I don't. Is Deadpool a mutant? Someone should answer that question. So, like, it says his species is a human mutate. Um, so I'm like sitting here in silence, like reading this. Like, yep, people are enjoying me reading. I don't know how long I've been sitting here doing that. So, according here, a human mutate means that, unlike the mutants in the Marvel Universe who gain their powers at puberty along with other mental and physical, mental and bodily and physical changes or whatever, and, they, the, the human mutates, as they're called, Marvel mutates, aren't born with superpowers. They aren't born with the potential for superpowers. Um, these powers show up as like the direct result of being exposed to like cosmic radiation or like an energy or yeah, something like that. Deadpool fits into this category as he gained his healing factor from genetic alteration from the Weapon X program. Aww. 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 I feel bad. Yeah, there's like X-Men, mutant um, experimentation. Sorry. So, this Deadpool's primary power is an accelerated healing factor, depicted by various writers. I'm reading this off of Wikipedia, so don't trust me. Go like look for yourself. I'm just like clicking the first thing that was there. Depicted by various writers at differing levels of efficiency, artificially endowed by the Weapon X program, this enables him to regenerate any destroyed tissue at a superhuman rate, as well as making him immune to all known diseases. An unanticipated side effect was an acceleration of the cancerous tumors he was suffering from at the time, causing them to quickly spread across his entire body. Because of this, his healing factor has supercharged his cancer, resulting in massive scar tissue, causing his appearance to be severely deformed. Deadpool's brain cells are similarly affected, with dying brain cells being rejuvenated at a super accelerated rate. This allows Deadpool to recover from any head wounds, and it renders him nearly invulnerable to psychic and telepathic powers. As the altered or damaged brain cells quickly regenerate to their original state, it is also the cause of his psychosis and mental instability. We sometimes imply that his healing factor merely bolstered and accelerated an underlying mental issue. As young Wade Wilson was shown as a withdrawn, disturbed young kid caught in his zany daydreams, and upon losing his healing factor, Deadpool didn't regain his sanity. Deadpool's healing factor is strong enough that he has previously survived complete incineration and decapitation more than once. Although his head normally has to be reunited with his body to heal the wound, he was able to regrow his head after having it. Yeah, that's traumatizing. After having it pulverized by the Hulk. Unlike Wolverine's natural healing factor, Deadpool's is mentally driven, similar Wolverine. His healing factor also affects his physical attributes by increasing him to superhuman levels. Though in earlier years he also had superhuman strength. That detail has apparently been forgotten. Super Deadpool's body is highly resistant to most drugs and toxins. For example, it is extremely difficult for him to be intoxicated. He can, however, be affected by certain drugs such as tranquilizers if he is exposed to a large enough dosage. Deadpool's healing factor also slows the aging process. He is still alive 800 years in the future when the new X-Force encounters him. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. Wow, Deadpool's awesome. Like, like, oh my god. You need to, like, go read this. Um, yeah, okay, we're not gonna read this anymore. Excuse me. Sorry. I did not mean, like, burp in your face. It's really warm right now. I'm sitting on this seat and I'm just, like, moving, and oh my god, it's so warm and hot in my room right now. I'm gonna try and like just ignore the heat and just talk. I'm wearing a black shirt, which means I'm absorbing all the heat onto me. So like, yeah. Um, I'm watching Eden of the East, which is about a man who wakes up in the middle of Washington D.C. with a gun and a phone, and he's naked and he has no memories of who he is and how he got to Washington D.C. and yeah, that's what happened. Um, sorry, I'm like choking on life. Okay. Yeah, my tongue is probably white. I need to brush my teeth. I'll do that when I'm done with this video. This video will be uploaded by the time it's, I'll see when it gets uploaded. By the time it's uploaded, I would probably have already finished brushing my teeth because it's like, my mind is like slow right now. It's like H. Yeah, it's like 8 something. Yeah, I'll probably upload the video, and while it's loading, I'll be in the bathroom brushing my teeth. Yeah, so by the time this is uploaded, it'll probably be like 9:30 something. I don't know. Um, uh, I'm just thinking about like how I like to flirt with people, and by flirt I mean I flatter them. So like I get joy out of like watching someone blush and smile, and yeah. And it's not even like I'm like complimenting them. Like I want to see them blush, and like, yeah, just do this and be like, oh, thank you. Yeah, that's just so enjoyable. I like to flatter people is basically what I'm saying. So I'll be like, I hold the door open, and if someone asks me, um, why do you hold the door open? And I'm always like, well, because I get to see the amazing people like you who say thank you, and I'm like, yeah, oh, see, I'm making myself blush. Well, but that's only because if someone said that to me, I would be very flattered, and yeah. Alright, my nose is, yeah, it's like, it's making me sound awful. So, um, let's do, here, let's go. I have something. So go to, type in random superhero name generator and click on the superhero name generator. Your superhero name, that's basically what it is. And it brings up this thing. You can make a random name and pick male or female or neutral, or you can, which is what I'm gonna do, you can click generate a name from your own name. So you just type in your first name and your last name, and you can't see this, and it'll like create a backstory for you. So if you make a random name, you just click male, female, or neutral, and then it'll generate a name for you. Or you can click generate a name from your own name, and then type in your first name and last name, and then pick male, female, or neutral, and then click generate a name. So the one that comes up for me always is Jupiter. My superhero name is Jupiter Shadow, and it says you were. This is such a weird word. You were bequeathed your powers by a dying alien who identified you as the bravest person on Earth. One of my powers is planetary avatar. You are able to channel and summon the natural forces of any planet or moon. The volcanoes of Ten, the acid rain of Venus, the sands of Mars are all yours to command. And shadow control. You can manipulate and control shadows using them to hide yourself or even as a mode of transportation, traveling from one shadow to another. Now you protect Jawanga Gorge from barking dogs while also battling the evil plans of Adam and the Adamantites. That was a mouthful. Yeah. I'm thinking about like Young Justice, and it's a TV show about teenage superheroes, or basically the teenage counterparts of the famous superheroes like Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman and whatever. So they have like basically there's these teenagers dealing with the problems of being a teenager, but also dealing with the problems of being a superhero. So uh they go on like basically this teen the show starts off with them they basically it's today is the day that they are supposed to become members of the Justice League, and when they realize that the Justice League doesn't really respect them and it still thinks that they're kids, that yeah, that they're meant like these mentors, these people that they love and trust with their lives, with their lives, um, think they're treat treat them like kids, and it's yeah. So they decided to go on a mission to prove that they're not, and the mission goes very well, and um, they argue with the Justice League for a while. The Justice League gives them a covert operations team because the Justice League, they're the members of the Justice League are kind of like celebrities, so they can't really like go on top secret missions. But the sidekicks, no one really knows who they are, so they can go on secret missions for the Justice League, and yeah, it's like it's dealing with the problems of like not only being a teenager and not only being a superhero, but being a teenage superhero. So you have thoughts of like sex and this is on Cartoon Network, so I can't say drugs or alcohol, but you have thoughts of like love and romance and relationships and like like family problems and things like that. Like just kid friendly problems because this isn't unfortunately this is an adult show. I mean this isn't an adult show, it's a show on Cartoon Network, so if it was an adult show it would be like about sex and drugs and violence and yeah. Um but it's still good and it's Young Justice. Um I'll list the original members are um, um, actually I don't think I can't like I'm trying to think like I don't know who the original members are, but so the members of the team are Aqualad, Robin, Kid Flash, Superboy, uh, Miss Martian, and then there's a new superhero. Um, she's based off of Arrowette, um, but they changed her story. They changed the character to Artemis. Um, they switched out Wonder Girl for Miss Martian, and they switched out Impulse for um they switched out Impulse for Kid Flash, and uh, Secret isn't in this one. Oh, she is she does appear on the show, but she's not really a main character. She appears like one episode, and then um, yeah. So Secret is replaced by Superboy, I guess. No wait, I mean by Aqualad. And there's also a new Aqualad too. Um, it's such a good show. Yeah, I'm reviewing some, and this unfortunately it's not on TV anymore. It had like 2 seasons. Man, it's so good. Um, yeah. I'm thinking about uh, I was crying earlier because I was really influenced by like one of my stories, and I thought about like I took like I have like my own like I was um I like Glee so much. Like let's make something I can live on inside of my head that comes from me. So I made like my own version of Glee, sort of. I thought I read books and play video games and watch TV and movies and listen to music and whatever and all those things to like, escape from my problems because when I read books not only do I realize that my life sucks but through the realization that my life sucks I realize that that while these characters are like going on adventures to save their mom and like trying to redeem their soul I'm in I'm here at Starbucks complaining about how my coffee is $20. So it makes my problems seem completely insignificant and unimportant, and it it makes like it's kind of like I'm running away from reality for as long as I can before it catches up. Yeah. So I thought about like a story revolved around that idea, and I like thought about I made like a similar scene to the show where because in Glee in season one, this isn't a spoiler anymore. If you like Glee and you haven't seen this episode, then I don't know. Like, yeah. I don't know how you haven't seen this episode. Go watch it on Netflix. And then basically Principal Figgins is standing by his rule that the Glee Club has to win or get second place at regionals. And they go to regionals and they lose. They don't get second place or first place, and which means the club is over. So the Glee Club decides to bring Mr. Shu into the auditorium, and they tell him all the things that they were at the beginning of the school year, and that he changed those things for them, and that Glee Club isn't just a thing; it's a person, and that person is him, and because the Glee Club won't ever end because the members of the Glee Club knew him, so the Glee Club will live on as long as he is alive and as long as they remember him and everything that he taught them. And they sing "To Serve with Love." Pause the video and go watch that performance right now. Okay, you've done watching it. Yeah. So they perform that song, and like Sue is standing in the background. She could see the Glee Club really meant a lot to these characters, to these. That was really awful to these kids, and she gets Principal Pickens to give them another year to win or place at regionals. In season 2, the next year, they actually do get second place. I think it's second place because I'm just assuming that it's second place because they don't really. They probably would have gotten first place because they wrote original songs, but Rachel and Finn had to kiss on the stage in front of everyone, and that's not professional. So yeah, I assume they got second place because the Glee Club. If they lost, then the Glee Club wouldn't have come back for season 3. The show would have been over after that. So I just assumed that they got second place. Um, uh, yeah. So I basically based a club around I like imagine like wow, thinking about like like the whole. I thought about these 3 kids because I thought about um these 3 kids get together and they form a club as actually not to help these kids run away from their problems, but to give them a place to be, something to do while they're thinking about how they can solve their problems. And now they know they're not alone. They're surrounded by a bunch of people who can help them solve this problem too. So this club is we formed this club, and I thought about like a moment of let's just say the Glee the principal doesn't really like the idea of this club because the principal feels like this teaches the kids to run away from their problems. And this club says basically give us a chance. So at the end of the year, they put on a show for the entire school. It's not like singing and dancing, but that is what it is. They basically this club. I thought they could play games. They can do live action role playing. They can put on plays for everyone, and they can do art and like I love this. It's like they put on a talent show for the kids for the entire school at the end of the school year, and basically, if the kids don't like it, then the club is over. But if the kids do like it, then the club can continue on, and the club stays. Uh, and they do. I thought about like already at the end of the show, so I put something. I put some Glee. Actually, this wasn't part of my original. I just thought about the idea of, like, a bunch of kids making a club where they can get together and have a place to be to figure out a way to solve their problems. Um, that's where there's the idea originally. Like the idea originally stemmed from a bunch of kids who wanted to escape their problems. Well, who wanted a place to run away from their problems just for a little bit. But then I adapted. That sounds like a very awful club that teaches kids how to run away from their problems. So I said it gives how about a club where they get to be surrounded by a bunch of people who also want to run away from their problems. But now it's not doesn't teach the kids to run away from their problems, but it puts them in a place where they can have something to do while they're thinking about how to solve their problem, and they're surrounded by a bunch of people who have probably have the sort of the same problems too, so they can help each other solve their each other's problems um, and solve their problems on their own if they want to, and yeah, like so and then I just started thinking about like, but this since, but then I started like adding scenes from Glee in here and like putting my characters in Glee like situations, and by Glee like I mean they were exactly like Glee situations. So I this is where this is stemming from. I'm not gonna do this, but I like the idea of like the kids bringing the three original members who brought them, who made this club, and thanking them and then singing a song. Like, I love that. Like I was like, oh, like if I would cry, if I was a part of that club, I would cry. I would just be so like we went through like like uh like I agree with the Glee Club. Like outside without the club, like they're like these kids are not gonna address each other. And they're not gonna be friends at all. And I'm like, so heartbreaking. They're gonna go out alone and try to solve their problems on their own, uh, which is okay. But sometimes that's not good. So you have to ask for help, and yeah, like I just no. So I was gonna cry because as soon as I put them into that situation where like the club is over, I started crying. Like I was like, this is even a real thing, and I'm crying. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's weird. I mean, not weird, but oh my god, I'm gonna like write this story. No, I can't actually. I'm gonna like make it in my head, at least because I don't know, because I feel like if I write it down in my notebook, someone's gonna find it and they're gonna read it, and yeah, I don't like to deal with that. So I'm just gonna like, make the story in my head, and I'm gonna try to make sure that it's nothing like Glee. Um, yeah. Um, I don't like to say goodbye because goodbye implies that I will never see you again. Uh, so see you later. And it looks like I went a little overboard. So this might go up at like